had a weird wake-up call. Okay, I'm back. Let me get comfy. Get out those little Crocs. Get back to you. Get back to this audience. Okay. Alright, part 2 of this thing. So, like I said, I was in West Virginia and I was covering stories everywhere. Doing every little journey thing. Zip lining, murders, incest, all that. But back to the subject of the pandemic. So the pandemic hit in 2020, and that's when I was in West Virginia. I should have been doing content back in 2020, and I can still laugh at myself because here we are in 2025, and your girl is finally starting her content all over again. But okay, we're here. That's all that matters. But as I was saying, in 2020, that's when the pandemic hit, and I was just not in the right mindset. As a TV reporter, I have to tell you this too. You have contracts. You are owned by that company. They do not want you to do any outsourcing, any other thing. Like, you are focused on them. If you want a business, you might want to keep that on hush-hush. If you want this, you might want to keep that on hush-hush. So I just felt like I couldn't do TikTok, or I couldn't do Instagram, or, YouTube and tell my stories and, make an income from that, because if they found out, I would probably get fired. No, probably. Because, that's kind of in the same field. So it's like, why are you branding yourself over here when we're branding you in a commercial or, on a billboard? So, at that time, I just probably couldn't do content. And we were putting ourselves out there in COVID. When I say I was in the middle of COVID, I could have died. I could have got sick. I could have got COVID. And I did get COVID. I got COVID at least 3 times, I remember. But I think that's when I started to learn, like, maybe this news thing is not where I need to be. Maybe this news thing is, like, a little dangerous. And news is very dangerous. We are situations that a lot of people cannot understand. And I'm pretty sure stories out there where reporters have gotten killed in the field, have gotten hit by a car, have gotten, hurt. Thankfully, none of those things have ever happened to me. And obviously I'm still here, so I'm alive. But it's true. Those stories are true. Now, in my case, I've had stalkers. Yes, I've had stalkers, and that was scary. But that's when I learned self-defense. I've learned how to protect myself. So, that's just things a lot of people don't know about. Whew, I tell you, all these interruptions, people be calling you and all this other stuff. All right. So now that I'm getting comfortable talking, I'm actually getting comfortable. I can't believe it. Can y'all believe I'm getting comfortable talking? But I am. Anyways. So where was I? Oh, talking about the pandemic. So in the pandemic, as a reporter, we were covering things that you could have got killed. I remember going in the hospital wearing hazmat suits. And I was just like, are you really putting me in situations where I could get this, this virus or COVID and I could die? Like, I was second guessing myself. Like, what was I thinking going into this field? Because I was a essential worker. I had to go to work still and report about COVID. People were dying left and right in West Virginia when I was covering COVID. And the pandemic. I've seen body bags. I've seen it all. I don't even want to kind of remember all that. But one thing that really stuck to me, and I think that's probably what led to my mental breakdown, and I'll get to that. I had a letter from the government, literally telling you who, what, when, where, and why you would have to go if something major happened. That's stuff you see in the movies. That's just stuff you see in the movies. Like, it's kind of like a secret society. Like, okay, I'm an essential worker, I'm this reporter, and if something major happens, I would basically have to go undercover, underground. I'm not even going to get into that, and I'm not even going to get into the details, but that was actually real, getting a letter like that. And the problem for me was the fact that I was 2.5 hours away from home, and I couldn't even go home. I couldn't even go out the state. I couldn't even see my family. I think that is what broke me down the most. Now, I'm not going to say I'm a homebody because I am not. I love coming home. Gastonia is beautiful. I love my people from Gastonia, don't get me wrong. I love seeing my family because I am a grandfather's girl, a pawpaw's girl. If you know me, pawpaw, we're Southern. But I'm not a homebody. I don't plan to ever stay back in Gastonia permanently. No, you will never, no. I do not want to raise my kids in Gastonia. No offense. But I just want them to see the world. That's all, people, because I'm a journalist, so I want them to experience the world and probably be raised more in a city environment, even though I am a country girl. But back to the pandemic. There's just things that we covered that you would not even imagine. And it was just a life-changing experience. So that leads me to my breakdown. I'm doing all this work thinking I want to be on TV, wanting to be that pretty girl on TV, that pretty face, and helping people and not even helping myself. That's where I woke up at, because I looked back at pictures when I was in Michigan and I was sick. I was so broke, I couldn't even afford some of my medications. And if you look at my photos, you could tell that I was getting swollen, and medication was getting hard to buy. And that's sad when you're making this little bit of money and you need your medicine. So believe it or not, they thought I had lupus at one point, but I didn't. Praise God, I don't have anything like that. But that's when you just have a wake-up call. And I'm finally having my wake-up call. I'm sorry that it took 2025 to wake me up, and I'm here. And I'm just out here on my platform finally talking about Star Connor. And, people need to hear things and see things and listen to stories like mine, because it'll wake them up too as well. So in West Virginia, I had a weird wake-up call. I remember March 2021, contract negotiations came back. Star, we'll pay you such and such and such and such for you to sign on 2 more years. 2021, we already lived through a year of the pandemic. My answer was hell no. Yes, I said it. I said hell no. I didn't know where I was going next. I didn't know anything. I didn't have a job. I thank God my car payment was paid off, but I was not going back into the field of reporting at that time.